Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. This is Mike. 2 nights in a row, something must have been going on. I think I'm inspired or just crazy. I'm not sure. Maybe both. Okay. I wanted to very briefly show you some of the film-related books that I've been picking up recently. So we get started. This is The Incredibly Strange Features of Ray Dennis Steckler by Christopher Wayne Curry. A book that has reviews of every one of Steckler's films. And it also has some interviews with Steckler himself that I haven't seen before. Also with his ex-wife, Carolyn Brandt, who was his biggest star. And she's a real treasure. I just love her so much. And also one of his daughters. And a couple of other people that he worked with. So it's just great fun. I never get enough of knowing about Steckler. And this is from McFarlane Books, a name that I'm sure most of you know about and probably have a lot of their products. If I had all the money in the world, which I don't, unfortunately, I would have a house full of McFarlane books because they have so many great titles, great subjects that I would buy everything they have. But man, they're not cheap, so I don't buy that many of them. I wish I could. I wait till they're on sale usually. But I did buy another item from them, which is a 2-volume set of Keep Watching the Skies by Bill Warren, A through K, and then the rest of the alphabet. These are film reviews of science fiction movies from the 1950s and going up into the early 60s, and that's his focus. And this was first published in 1982, and he added to it. So these are reference books that I will be looking at for the rest of my life. And here's Bill Warren on the back here with Robbie the Robot. I never met Bill Warren. I know he passed away a few years ago. I think he was doing conventions about the same time when I was beginning to do conventions. And I used to come across him on the old Sinister Cinema message board, which I don't think they have anymore. And he seemed like he was always there. And he was getting into these detailed arguments with people who would challenge him about certain minutia from old movies that they thought that they could stump him with something, and they never could. He was the type of guy that would never back down on an argument. He had more information than anybody else and more words to express that information, and it was just really fascinating. And I never challenged him. I think I may have communicated with him once or twice, but it was always on a very peaceful basis. I'm not that crazy. Getting back to Ray Dennis Steckler, this book is a great companion piece to the Severin Films box set, which came out a couple of years ago, well, maybe a year ago, whatever, which contains all of his movies, X-rated as well. Okay, and the last book I wanted to show you is from Bear Media. This is Bela Lugosi and the Monogram 9 by co-authors Gary D. Rhodes and Robert Guffey. The Monogram 9. Now, a lot of you may not know what it refers to, the Monogram 9. Between the years of 1941 and 1944, Bela Lugosi made 9 films at the low-budget Poverty Row studio Monogram, and they've been seen and criticized and pulled apart by a lot of people over the years. A lot of people think that they are just, low-budget junk and not worth talking about. A lot of people see them as, because it's Bela Lugosi, they are classics and they need to be appreciated. And that's the approach taken by these guys here. And a lot of these films are really interesting. Bela Lugosi is always interesting and always worth watching. And these guys are very introspective and respectful. Now, I'm only in the 3rd chapter, which is the 3rd film that they're talking about. So I'm assuming that that respect will carry on. I don't know. But this is a good companion piece to an earlier book by Tom Weaver, Poverty Row Horrors, which covers all of the Monogram films as well, and is referenced in this new book. This is also by McFarlane. So I have spent some money over the years. Before I leave you here, I want to read a quote from Robert Guffey in chapter 2 when he's talking about the film. Let's see, what is the film he's talking about? Invisible Ghosts, which is the first one of the Monogram 9. And this is sort of in context, this is talking about the films of Bela Lugosi. But what he says in this quote will give you an insight into the inner workings of my mind, all right, when I think about films. So let me read this to you very quickly. There are so many surreal images in the films of Bela Lugosi that it would be difficult to name all of them here. Half-remembered images often come floating to the forefront of my brain, almost unbidden. In the middle of the night, teetering on the border of wakefulness and sleep, these images haunt my mind like invisible ghosts, brief flashes of visual poetry laced with silver nitrate, strange memories cast in monochromatic black and white. That describes me perfectly. So, make of that what you will, and comments are welcome. Good night, folks.